We took maps too close together. Yeah, you have to stand it out. You might as well just stay in for a while. Yes, sir. Things were.
I don't know how you're ever. The ground replaces the pipes will drive the property. Because I got the, actually talked to my water. Whatever. It's always.
All right, it is 6 p.m. on this 14th of January, 2026. I'll call this Town Council meeting to order. Recognize that we have a quorum present, though we are down a few. Welcome those who are in attendance and those who are tuned in online. Thank you for being here. Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Amos?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Dwyer? Mr. Parrott? Mr. Yolen?
Here.
Mr. Hunter?
Here.
Mr. Hardy?
Here.
Thank you. We will roll into invocation, which I will lead. You are welcome to join if so inclined or not to if so inclined. And then Vice Mayor Reed will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you. First item up is adoption of the agenda. If there are no changes, do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next up is declaration of personal interest. Does anyone have a declaration they wish to make concerning the agenda tonight? Not hearing any. We will move into recognition of employees with 25 years of service. Mr. Davis, are you handling this one?
Yes, sir. I can have CR, Bobby, Tim, I'm missing Chuck. Y'all can just come on up here for me if you don't mind. Just line up right there. This is a lineup. We just wanted to make sure. I'm going to start off by saying this is probably one of the most joyous parts of the job is to recognize people for their time of service and what they've done for the town of Farmville as an employee. As you all know, at 25 years concurrent, 25 years, we recognize employees for that service by giving them a town watch. And so I'm going to give you a little bit about the employee, their time here in these 25 years, and then I'll give each of them their watch after the fact. So I'm going to start off with CR. CR started with the town on March of 2000. He came to us with experiences in welding and machinist. He noted in his original application that he was interested in getting into the field as a profession, and obviously he has for 25 years. He passed his Class 4 water operator's license 2 years later in August of 2002 and was promoted to water treatment plant operator during that time. And so, as I said, CR has been with us for 25 years. You might not have seen him much because, you know, they're locked in that plant for 13 hours a day. But all that the citizens have as far as clean water, that's one of the employees that helps make that happen. Chuck's not with us tonight, but I do want to acknowledge his service, and so I'll tell you a little bit about Chuck. Chuck was hired in April of 2000 as a mechanic 2. He came to the town with his CDL and having graduated from Nashville Auto Diesel College with work experience as an equipment operator and mechanic, including diesel, heavy equipment, generators, and welding, to include work for the U.S. Navy. Chuck was promoted soon thereafter to a foreman, which he is today, and that was on October of 2000. So I want to thank Chuck, and I'll get him his service watch at work. Next is Bobby Brown. Bobby was hired in April of 2000 as a concrete crew worker, a laborer 1, as we call it now. He came to the town with experience in masonry labor, farm experience, and equipment operation skills. Since his time with the town, he's gotten his CDL, willing to help on crews, and was promoted from a laborer 1 to a laborer 2 in 2002. In 2022, he was promoted again to equipment operator. He's actually now a certified. We sent him to a course not too long ago, along with some others, to actually have the certification as a equipment operator. So he's now got that certification, and that's using skills such as loaders, backhoes, and that type of thing. I joke with Bobby because you see how clean he is, right? Nice dressed man. He's the cleanest man I've ever seen in public works when he works, too, man. If he's going to make sure he stays clean. You knew I couldn't let that go by. You want me to show him how you get clean? The next person is Tim Seamster. Tim was hired in October of 2000 as a dispatcher. He came to the town with local government experience as a reassessment clerk, some retail management, bookkeeping, customer service skills. Tim found his passion for public safety as a firefighter and EMT, so naturally emergency communications was a great fit for Tim. Tim was named CAD administrator in 2005. He took on some supervisory responsibilities in 2011. Since it was retitled in 2015 to Communications Operator 2. And Tim has received commendations from the town in 2011, 14, and 25. He's also received commendations from the City of Lynchburg Police Department for his work as an instructor at the Central Virginia Criminal Justice Academy Dispatch School in those years of 03, 04, and 08. All of these individuals represent the type of employee that we enjoy having for the town of Farmville and offering the quality services that we do to our citizens on a daily basis. So please thank them for their 25 years of concurrent service. Tim? Congratulations. The brakes? I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, I'm gonna take you to the shop. Oh, Oh, yeah. I don't think you'll like that one, though. You gonna wear them on both wrists? Thank you, guys.
Can I get one picture?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, gentlemen, for your dedication to serving the citizens of Farmville. That's a great thing. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Next up is the public comment period. Mr. K, we have anyone signed up for public comment period tonight?
No, sir.
We'll sign up for public comment period. We will move to the consent agenda. You had the draft minutes of the November 5th work session and the December 3rd work session and the December 10th regular council meeting. If there are no changes, do I hear a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next up on the agenda is the finance report with Ms. Julie Moore.
Good evening. You have the December finance report in front of you. For the month of December, we earned $40,508 in income. Of that, $23,388 come from LGIP, $4,451 from the sweep accounts at Benchmark, and $12,669 from VIP. Any questions on that? Also, I have some more. Do you have a question? Okay.
I have a question. Has the principal amount changed in our accounts to VIP or the LGIP? It seems like the numbers are going down a little bit.
Because the rates are going down, unfortunately. The rates are going down, but the principal, no. The only movement we've had is we moved that 2.1 out to pay for the fire truck in advance. As soon as we got the money from the bond, I put it right back. So it was like a week in December that LGIP didn't have that 2.1. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. I also wanted to let you know that business license renewals were mailed out and they're due February 28th. We've posted that on social media. I just wanted to let everybody, remember that they need to turn those in. My office does not like to waive penalties and interest if you file them late because we feel like like a tax return, your personal tax return is due April 15th, and the IRS would not accept a late one unless you file an extension. We don't have extensions, unfortunately, so therefore, if you can file that timely, you can file your business return timely too. So we're just reminding people that it's due by the 28th of February. And I also want to let you know that the real estate tax collection, as of today, we've gotten 95% of them. So we've gotten almost all of it, and I expect we'll get the other 5% in the next month or so. And for personal property, we've gotten 86%. And I think when we get the business licenses in, we'll get the rest of that because you can't get your license unless you've paid your personal property. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of slip off on a side note. I've been thinking about this one for a while. So we won't waive the penalties on the business license. I get that. That's great. That's fine. I understand that. But it's my understanding that if the food tax is paid early, they get a discount.
You get a 3% discount, yes.
I'm curious as to why we do that. I mean, they got to pay it. I don't get a discount for paying my electric bill early, and I don't get a discount for paying my other taxes early. I'm just curious as to why we have that. That's probably a fair chunk of revenue for the town.
So I'd have to look to guarantee it to you, but I believe it's actually in the code.
Yeah.
So you'd have to change the town code for that. One of the other things is they're actually doing the town a benefit by collecting the tax on our behalf. And so they're because the customer is paying the tax to them for us to collect from them. So I believe that was the purpose of it. I wasn't here when that was written, but I can only guess that that's the purpose for it.
Can I get some more information on that, please?
I'll get
And
that for you.
How much our revenue is changed by that 3%? I mean, even if we change it to 2% or, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here on ideas for revenue.
Are you wanting me to try to tell you how much that would be? Like how much that discount is that we're currently given? I mean, I can probably do that, but it might take me a little bit of a while.
I don't, I mean, a
And I
rough
can
estimate is,
Okay, I
a
just
rough
want,
estimate is fine. It's, it's like, oh,
and I will also verify where that 3% comes from too.
thank you.
Any other questions at this time for Ms. Moore?
No, I don't have anything.
Thank you. Next item on the, oh, wait, first we have to accept that finance report. Do I hear a motion to accept the finance report as presented?
Make a motion that we accept the finance report.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Is there enough people who chimed in there? All in favor? You guys in favor of accepting the finance report as presented?
Yes.
Okay. Those opposed? All right, ayes have it. We'll roll into old business, which is a repeat from last week at the work session. It is discussion of potential employee incentives. You have any additional information for us, Mr. Davis?
Once again, I'm not looking for an answer tonight. We got you the information. I believe Ms. Moore sent you an email about the cost. You have a spreadsheet to play with of how we make it whole for the hourly employees. So if you have any questions about that, please ask her. Mr. Parrott is not here tonight. He did ask me to pass one thing along, and that is if we do go to the 4-day work week, that he would like to see us, instead of the hourly employees. Now, pretty much the hourly employees that are affected by this is the public works employees. Is that they are able to earn overtime after the 36 and not after 40. So no straight time, the first 4 hours. I will share that it's easier for me to talk, obviously, to the people in this building. I feel confident in saying that the majority of people in this building are in favor of 4 days. I went Monday and actually explained it, as I did to you all last week, to the public works employees in more detail. I would say, if not all, the vast majority for sure are in favor of a 4-day work week. And the topic did come up about coming in, getting called in, and having paid straight time after being called in, that may not go over as well. So I add that for food for thought for you all. And then Mr. Dwyer couldn't be with us. He did ask me to share that he is in favor of the 4-day work week. And I told him that would not be any action this evening, but he just wanted to reiterate that. And he would be in support of what Mr. Parrott has suggested as far as the hourly. The other thing that I will be bringing to you to help you with your decision is we are calculating in the town hall piece the people that, because there was some conversation about the number of people that actually come in. And so we are calculating from that next day until the next work session, actually how many people actually come in the office Monday through Friday on each of those days, so that you have an idea of how busy it is on each of those days as in person would be. Other than that, I really don't have anything to speak any further about the 4-day work week proposal, and from the conversation of the last meeting, it seems that the majority is not, is in favor of seeing the career development. So I do have those public safety offices working on developing a policy for that I'll work with them and we'll bring at a later date for that piece. That's all I have, Mayor.
Is there anybody who wants to jump in on discussion?
Yep, I'll start. I feel like it's for us as council, it's almost a lose-lose no matter which way we go on this. We say no and we get, the employees are like, well, they didn't give us a 4-day work week. We say yes, and our constituents feel like, and I've had a fair chunk of feedback about this already. Our constituents say you're wasting our tax dollars. One of the comments that I received was, if people need the town, it's because they are required to deal with the town and not because they have a choice. So therefore, it's a service that we provide. We are a municipality, and we should be here Monday through Friday to provide that service. Another one was, one of the things that was said was it would be a morale booster. Well, if they need a morale booster, why do they need one? What's going on that morale is down? Maybe we ought to look into that. If that's the feeling, if morale is down. I don't know that it's down. I'm just saying that's what it would be, a morale booster for everybody to work 4 days a week. One of the other things that hit me the other day is Dr. Davis, you said some people have side jobs and they could do that on a Friday when they're off. It's not our job to provide them a day to do side work. That's my feeling. We don't have that where I am. I don't know any company that says, well, you know what, I'm just going to give you an extra day off so that you can do side work. That didn't go across very well with some folks. It's still not, I feel like it's not being portrayed properly because we're not going from a 40-hour work week to a 36-hour work week. We're actually going to a 34, and they are actually working 34 hours because we're giving them 30 minutes for lunch paid on us. It's not that I have issue with individual things. It's the whole picture of it. And that's where I stand on this. And so I am not in favor of this at this time. The county is not doing this right now. And I've even heard from some of the Board of Supervisors that they're not in agreement with this either. So I just wanted to put that out there.
I like that you're going to take from 36 to 40 and for the overtime. I like that. So my question, I don't understand Andy's overtime issue. His hours are totally different. So when does Andy's overtime come into effect? How will his department deal with overtime? Is that a total separate beast? Do we have to even deal with any of that?
The fire department has a totally different based on their schedule and the police department.
All right.
I did have one more question while it's coming to my brain. Making them whole to 40 hours is one thing, but then I can't remember whether you said this or not, but make them whole up to 40 hours and then also doing a cost of living raise for the hourly employees this year, is that or not? Because I mean, that's one of the other things, because that would be also an increased cost.
We're looking at doing a cost of living increase for all employees this year, this coming budget year.
Okay, so the hourly employees are getting an extra benefit, and then everybody also gets a cost of living increase as well. And I know that everybody may not agree with me, but it is just what I'm hearing from my constituents and business owners and in the town, and I'm just relaying what they are telling me.
I would make a comment in relation to the county's not doing it. I'm sure they're not. No one around here is. That's the game changer for us, is to be different. That we are an employer of choice, and that is a competition that is bigger and bigger in local government all over America, of how can you be the employer of choice by offering and doing things. And so, yeah, I mean, that's very true. I said that in my presentation. And for me, I answer to the council. I'm no disrespect, but I'm not worried about the board of supervisors.
Yeah, I'm a little troubled by Board of Supervisors weighing in on council business. It seems like a interesting line. I will say that as far as from my perspective on morale, having attended lots of conferences at Virginia Municipal League and National League of Cities, it's kind of endemic across public service right now, is folks not being psyched about public service because of the animosity and the culture of like divisiveness that we see around government. I mean, there is active attempts to undermine trust in government. That doesn't engender a desire to enter that field. You know, I mean, it weighs on people. And so when I think about morale, I think about the mental health weight of things of that sort. But that's just my personal perspective. And from what I hear when I go to these conferences is that finding viable candidates for these positions is hard across the country. And so finding ways to make yourself competitive, and at least I guess Mr. Davis's words, be the employer of choice, is advantageous. But that's just my perspective. Mr. Hunter?
Not only that, Mr. Mayor, I mean, I agree with you, Dr. Davis, in reference to, we have to draw people, and we go through this every year in reference, well, not every year. We've gone through this several times in reference to trying to keep up with the salaries of the other departments. So having something different to draw good people, to keep good people, a lot of these people want to spend more time with their family than work, and we understand that. Well, I understand it anyway. And when we had the pandemic, you had people working from home. Well, a lot of them didn't want to come back to work. So this is a way for me to draw good people, to keep good people as those that have been here 25 years or more. And I see no problem with it. Like I said, I would like to see the office open, but I'm in the minority with that, so I have no problem with the whole thing going forward once we get the whole puzzle together. Thank you.
Quick question. Where is the disconnect between what we're talking about and Mr. Hart? It keeps coming up with 32 hours. 34 hours. Are these four? So I've done a little bit of investigating too, and not necessarily for Public Works, because you're right, this is a unique situation. But some places that go to 4-day work weeks do like 4 10-hour shifts to maintain that 40 hours. I don't think that applies towards Public Works, or maybe bookkeeping, but that's how they get to the 40. What are we really? Are we looking at 4 8-hour days plus half-hour breaks? Are we looking at? Can you elaborate on that a little bit more, please?
Sure. From my presentation last week is there's studies done that 10-hour workdays aren't beneficial from a productivity standpoint, and also it defeats the purpose of the person being here longer for 4 days in a row than what the purpose is for having that Friday off, let's say. So that's the reason for not doing 10-hour days. Mr. Hardy is saying, and I should say that, what he's referring to is it's a 36-hour day. 36-hour week. We are giving them 30 minutes paid for lunch those 4 days. So if you take those 30 minutes, that's 2 hours that they're here, but they're not physically working. So he's saying that they're only working 34 of the 36. However, if we're paying them, then it's a 36-hour work week. But it's 34 actual working if you add them together, the days.
Is there any other discussion on this topic? I mean, it will be back at work session next month as well. Any other additional discussion at this time? Not hearing any. We did receive a few emails in support of this from some constituents, and we had one that was unsure if they were in support, depended on the answering of a very nuanced and email questionnaire. But we thank those folks for letting their feelings be known. If there's no more discussion.
I have
Oh,
one
yes, ma'am.
comment. I don't know if you mentioned this, Dr. Davis, but I noticed when I was implementing the 4-day work week, absenteeism went down when I was implementing. I don't know if you mentioned that in your.
I did last
You
week.
did?
There's studies
Yeah.
that show that
Yeah.
people don't abuse their time.
Right. Most of the studies show that if you work a 40-hour week, you're not really working 40 hours. Yeah. All right. We have new business. New business on the agenda is the request of adoption of the Code of Ethics and Conduct and Ethics Pledge, which is something we do annually. If there is no issue with our Code of Ethics and Conduct and Ethics Pledge, which we sign every year, do I hear a motion to adopt the Code of Ethics and Conduct and Ethics Pledge?
I make a motion that we adopt the Code of Ethics and Conduct Ethics Pledge.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion at this time? Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up is one that's close to me in proximity. Request approval for town manager to sign authorization to proceed with an engineering study for repairs to the High Street Sewer Pump Station, which I believe is one of our most active, heavily used pump stations. Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir. Majority passes through High Street Pump Station. The highest volume, I would say. I'm going to have the Public Works Director explain it in detail. However, this is being brought before you. Traditionally, I would sign a contract because the funds would be budgeted, right? This is something that has come to our attention not during the budget cycle, when we were doing some maintenance on the High Street Pump Station. And so in order to do the study, the funds would have to be appropriated out of the reserve account in wastewater. And so I can't sign a contract committing to something without council's approval to do that. And then at a future meeting, we'll bring one to transfer those funds. But I'm going to let Stephen explain it a little bit more in detail of what transpired when they were actually cleaning routine maintenance of the pump station and what we're finding more of.
Good evening, council members. We were having a problem with the High Street shutting down. And we've been out there and we would pull the pumps and have to remove a lot of, look like rags and look like stuff coming from possibly the medical area and all of that stuff getting tied up to the pumps. But as we kept noticing, every time we would put it back in, it just wasn't sealing properly. So what we had to do, the pump is about 30 feet deep. It was built in 1995. So we pumped it, and when we pumped to the bottom, we realized that the reason why the pumps weren't working the way they were is because over time it's corroded. So the pumps are not sealing properly. We also saw a large infiltration of a sediment coming. We guess when the rivers overflow, it's a lot of sediments depositing. So we don't know where we're getting the infiltration from. So what the study is doing is that it's going to try to trace that force main all the way back towards the Hampton-Sydney area. Another issue that we discovered too, when the guys were at the bottom of the pump station and their waders cleaning out the depth of sludge that was at the bottom, on their way back up on the elevator, the safety plug that plugs the force main that keeps the sewage from coming in failed just right when they were up. So they made it just in time before that plug failed. If they were at that bottom and it failed, it would have been more of a retrieving and not a rescue because they would have drowned. Their waders would have weighed them down. So we're looking at another safety measure, putting a valve in to shut that off, a bypass system. So the whole thing is that the guts of the thing needs to be replaced. We need to do some sort of bypass and new safety features in it. So that's the purpose of this study. But we're noticing that this is a pattern. A lot of our pump stations are aging, and we're having this problem. We pulled pumps, 2 more pumps yesterday or the day before yesterday, having issues with failures. We're having to rebuild them because they've been built 30 years ago or longer. So, but High Street being that it's the most vital one that pumps most of our town, we have to get this thing studied and done and repaired. So that's the issues why this study is required.
Is the study required for us to get it replaced? I mean, or can we just put it out to bid to get it all replaced?
No, we need to know because of the magnitude of what needs to be done. There's things we just don't know what's going on with it. The purpose of this study is to find out where the infiltration is coming on that pipe system. It's also to try to come up with a game solution on how to restructure that whole system. Because right now, just to bid it out and have somebody fix it, that's not the solution. The solution is what's causing this. We're looking at trying to find methods that we can put new screening in places to keep a lot of that stuff from hitting the pumps, that we can catch it before then and clean it out. A safety bypass, a safety shutoff valve for it. Because we have found out that you can put a safety valve on it. We just don't know how to go about doing it. That's what we're doing the study for. We're the best place for it. And because pumps and things have changed, the internal guts that needs to be redone on this, but the rails, the pumps themselves and all of that. And then, of course, you're looking at the wiring systems and all of that. So the study will sit there and take care of all of that. And then once we get all that, because this study will also do the corrective actions on what we do and give us all that information. Then we can send it out to bid for the work to be done. But we're going to need this study first to know what's going on before we send it out.
Was there a time frame on when the study would be completed? Rough estimate?
I would say that they would have done in a couple of months or so, once we get everything signed and them started on it. They're going to get with staff. The staff will go down there, pump the station out, send them down, and start looking at it. So we have fixed the plug. So we're just going to make sure that we keep somebody up there watching it while they're down there looking at everything. But that's the reason why we're doing this study.
1995.
1995, yes, sir.
Well, if my wife is watching, she was right. She told me that she remembers in her teens that pump getting put in.
Yep.
So that would put it on time, 1995. Yeah, this goes back to the closing statement from last week, which, like all localities across this country, small towns particularly, we're faced with a lot of aging infrastructure that has not been improved for decades. And yeah, now it's all coming home to roost. Mm-hmm. Mr. Davis, is this why we stopped siphoning funds from the enterprise fund so that we would have funds to do these things?
One of the reasons, the main reason is it's never the right thing to do to fund the general fund from an enterprise fund. But yes, we now have the reserves that we have because we're not transferring money to support the general fund.
And generally for the public, the study prevents having to do work twice, hopefully, making errors in the beginning and then having to go back and fix them afterwards.
Well, and it does, Mayor, just like Mr. Edwards stated, it gives us a clear picture to write the next RFP of what needs to be done. And they'll also generally tell us a roundabout figure of where we should be seeing that cost for that type of work.
Well, I'm certainly glad we did not have a super bad situation. That sounds a little too touch and go there. Thankful, grateful that did not happen. Any additional discussion regarding the engineering study at this time?
Yeah, I have a question. What other pumps do we have that have been put in? Do we have the dates on those pumps as well? And we don't need them. I don't need them tonight, but just an idea of where we are with other pumps that have been put in.
No, the pumps haven't lasted since 1995.
I understand that. But I mean,
We've replaced pumps, the actual pumps themselves, over
Regularly.
periods of times, yes. They probably last 15 to 20 years.
We have actually started doing some cleaning and inspecting them, and we are finding out that there are several pumps that have been built that's been 30 years plus that are beginning to show the signs of corrosion as well. So I can get an inventory of all of that. I'd be glad to get that information from my Buildings and Grounds division. But there are showing signs of these pumps. These pumps are old. We're having, like I said, the one we got one that's currently now, we're having to get rebuilt and some things being done because they're aged. But like I said, back to High Street real quick, one more thing I might tell you. We're running on one pump. The other one, because it won't seal properly, we have to use it as an emergency pump. But right now, so it's running on one pump. That would typically takes two is running as one pump. So that's just something that we have to kind of look at as well.
Can we expedite the study? Because, I mean, if we're running on one pump and that one goes, then we're up the creek, no pun intended.
Yeah, we're gonna, once we get this signed, I'll speak with the group and see how far we can get, or how quickly we can get this done.
The first step would be approving the town manager to sign the authorization to proceed with the study. And I would entertain a motion to do so.
I'll make a motion that we proceed with the study to get this done.
Again.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion? Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
yes.
Mr. Harding,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, town manager's report. Mr. Davis.
Stay on that track with wastewater. Just to give you an update on our conversion process at the wastewater treatment plant. It continues to progress as planned. Site and demolition work is actively underway with the sand removed and crews currently dismantling and removing the existing sand filters to prepare the facility for installation of the new UV and disc filtration systems. Equipment procurement is moving forward with the UV equipment and generator received on site already, and the delivery of the disc filters is expected later in the project schedule. Work completed to date includes mobilization, site preparedness, equipment and staging, and early structural and mechanical work associated. This is probably about $593,000 worth of the total, which is about 15 to 16% of the project so far. Lead and copper service line inventory. This is just another announcement, not just for you all, but for the community at large, is that this is not a town thing. This is a federal EPA requirement that we have to have completed. we're still offering $20 off your a credit for voluntary reporting, which means that you have to tell us that you do not have any lead service, and if not, you need to let us come on your property and make sure ourselves if you don't feel confident. But a no response of any type is not a response from the EPA. We have to have a response from every single one by, is it 3 years from now? I mean, the sooner the better than 3 years of this. So we really need people's assistance. Update on the splash pad bathrooms facility. Brock Construction, Ian, was thankfully to help us because anybody else was not. So we went against what we were trying to do in case he wanted to make it fair, but he was willing to help us out. So he's here. I think he's willing to tell you what he saw, but the feedback that we've received is that advised that the renovating the existing structure that we've been talking about would likely cost approximately 10% more, give or take, than constructing a new stick-built facility. The location he also mentioned is relatively distant and may not adequately serve the users, particularly families with young kids, that type of thing. But I think he's willing if you have any questions about what he saw and anything like that.
Thank you for doing that.
Another update, the RFPs have come back on the Venable Street for the stormwater tunnel assessment. We had 2 bidders. We're looking at awarding one, so I'll be bringing you that at the work session because that's another one that there was no funds appropriated for, so we'll be using the reserves for that. And so I'll bring you that contract to sign then. And we just reviewed those this week, so that's why I don't bring something that's not already in the packet. Our consultant for the pay scale study will be at your February work session to present it and answer any questions about the pay scale study that we had requested. And then, as you know, we have a special call meeting next week for the council to approve the comprehensive agreement for the fire station addition, and then we'll move into a joint meeting with the Planning Commission to go over chapters, I believe it's 1 through 4 in the comp plan. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Hardy?
Just I'm hoping that we do put more money aside in reserve because with all these pump stations that are aging, and I think we should, I would love to see a more significant put aside. I don't know exactly what we're putting aside each year. Julie, can you give us that number next month or something, roughly how much we're putting aside in reserves? Next month.
Well, I mean, I can tell you, we put 2.5 million, and that's all we've put, because that was what Tommy wanted put back. You know, when I come to you guys and said, I want to use this money for the ARPA money for the UV, it was, he was like, well, we need this money for infrastructure. So the agreement was we would set 2.5. Now that 2.5 is growing because it's earning interest that we're allocating to it. But I haven't said any more back because truthfully, I need to be setting money back to cover the rest of the UV project that is above the 2.5. But once that, then I can continue to put more back.
Right. Well, that's what I'm getting at is to try to put money aside every year for those reserves for when the pump stations go out, so we don't have to necessarily go borrow money again to fix something that we can.
So we also every year have a fund, usually at the end of the year, whatever we have not spent becomes fund balance. Yeah. And so that's how that also builds reserve. So let's just say we don't, at the end of this fiscal year, June 30, let's say we don't spend $300,000 within water or $300,000 within sewer. each of those enterprise funds, we come back to you when we're going through the audit and say, hey, we've got to adjust our books, that this is now fund balance, and that's when it goes back into, that is the reserve account. Fund balance and reserve is the same thing.
Right, and I understand that, but that's not putting aside.
But what
For
you
like
were
a
saying
rainy
was
day
we
fund.
were actively setting 85,000 a month back until we got to the 2.5.
And
And so that's something that we can look at when we're working on the budget. We can talk to you guys and you guys can come up with a figure that you want to set back, and we'll see if we can make that work based on the budget numbers. And then, because we do that now in the general fund, every month we set 150,000 back so that we have money for the bond payment. And except for 3 months, we set 100,000 back, and that's in the budget. You approve that every year. So we can do the same for this. We just need to come up with the number. So, does that answer your
that's
question?
just a thought, and that's something we all would need to discuss, so.
You're saying fund, not fund balance. It's not a fund balance. It sounds a lot like fun.
I'll enunciate better. Fund.
That's all, thank you, sir.
Mr. Hunter,
No, I have nothing.
Mr. Yolen.
I have something, but it's not quite prepared. It was a joke, and I didn't deliver it properly. My timing's off. Thank you.
Mr. Reed.
Yeah, I just want to ask one question concerning the 4-day work week. Have we had many complaints about studying the 4-day week? Have we received any to town office? Or I know we got 2 emails that I read, but and no one spoke up tonight about questioning it, so I was just wondering.
I will say today, Mr. Parrott forwarded me one from a business in town, but that's the only one I know of. And it was forwarded from him that someone sent him.
Negative or?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't received any, and I was listening to Mr. Hardy, and he was saying he got, so many calls and from the board, supervisors, and emails, and I was just wondering where's all his coming from, and we haven't received anything. But anyway, as we continue to study this, I am for the 4-day work week, but we need to study it more.
Ms. Amos? I don't have much either. It is, as I said, last year, the new year. We entered the 250th anniversary of this grand experiment that we call America. And it's a great time to reflect upon the principles and values that we set forth and that we aspire to as a nation and a town. And so I will say that we have the Fireworks After Dark Committee starting back up soon, which gets me really psyched this year because it is the 250th. So if you got grand ideas for how we can, look at Mr. Idea's going to get him, you can make the 250th even better, let me know, because we won't make it. Make it a celebration. Make Mr. Davis's eyes bug out again. If there's no other business to be done before us, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Thank you all.